Welcome back to REVs. We have got our first guest about to come out. He, as I mentioned in the monologue, his restaurant Ellen's is a staple of the West End. We are honored to have Mr. Joe Groves here. Come on up, Joe. Yeah. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. We just, Dave and I, on the drums, just ate at Ellen's on Monday. It was a fantastic meal.
Thank you.
There like every other day.
I know,
We have payroll every Friday. That's a good thing.
you know, what I appreciate is your homage to SNL with a staple on the menu is Joe's Balls.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite item of Joe's Balls on
Well,
the menu?
do I personally have a favorite? Yes, the gritty balls are
I
my
like the
favorite.
gritty
Yeah,
balls as
we
well.
started with Joe's gritty balls, and there's just deep fried grits. It says just deep fried grits, but it's really quite complicated to do that well, honestly. And I'm not a chef, so I can't really give you the details. But it was cheese grits with jalapenos and bacon, and they're deep fried, and they're balls, and they're dipping sauce, and they're fantastic. But I thought, well, if we're going to be that salacious and naughty, let's go really big. And so I was trying to figure out other balls that we could do. So we have Joe's Blue Balls, which is
Oh,
the
yeah,
obvious one,
painful.
which are great. And we have Joe's Krabby Balls, which we've all experienced at some point. And then we have Joe's Cheesy Balls, which is just a hygiene issue as far as I'm concerned.
I like those balls combo.
Well, if you can't decide, you can always rack Joe's Balls, and that's been a common thing over the years
And
as
that's
well.
a sampler of
That's a sampler, yeah.
Joe's Balls.
Yeah.
Now, so before we got, we had so many balls on the menu, there you had to start the restaurant. And
Yeah.
So tell us about that. Because you weren't always in the restaurant business,
No,
right?
this is our first restaurant. I've always been an entrepreneur. I'm a really lousy employee, and I've only been an employee of a company once before that wasn't my own company, and I didn't do it well, and they fired me. So I started when I was 23 with my first business with my brother, and 15 years later we sold that, and I kind of dabbled around in other investments and things. And then in 2012 I met my partner Andrew Chuljan, who's here in the audience.
Andrew?
And it was a match made in heaven. He and our third partner, Russell Mertz, who's our executive chef, we said, let's build this little diner and see what happens. And we're about to open our 9th restaurant this year. So
Wow.
things are going well.
Now, restaurant is like the ultimate testing ground for an entrepreneur. I do
Yeah.
not want to get in that business
Yeah.
because there's so much
Don't.
competition.
Don't.
You've got inventory that expires. I mean, there's so many moving parts.
Well,
How-
the answer, it's really, the restaurants are the answer to the question, how can I lose as much money as possible, as quickly as possible? And restaurants are always the answer to that question.
Well, now obviously you can't lose money too much and continue to go from 1 to 9. So what's been your kind of secret to success with your restaurant?
Well, our restaurant downtown has been successful from the beginning, and we're fortunate that we're doing it well. Right now, because of COVID and some of the other situations with the economy, there's opportunity that didn't exist just a couple of years ago, including real estate inventory and deals to be made, and unfortunately other restaurants having had to close their doors. So there's excess inventory in the real estate market, and we're in a position, thankfully and very fortunately, that we can take advantage of some of those opportunities. So we're taking the time to do it right, and so that once this all lifts, and it will, we're positioned to really be in a strong place.
Now, were you embracing takeout? I mean, I assume that that's how you survived a lot of these tough times, or maybe not. But
Well, takeout has always been part of our business, but especially at the beginning of COVID, it was all of our business for the first 14 or 15 weeks after the main shutdown. But now it was about 6% before, and it's about 15% now. So that it's still really strong. But now that people are back in the restaurants, we're maintaining a strict 50% rule, even when it went to 75 for a short time, we stayed at 50%. But our sales are 90% of what they were before COVID. And that's because people are spending more when they come in. They're willing to wait for a table because they're few and far between. And people, I think, want to go out and spend, and they're happy to contribute.
absolutely. I mean, everybody gets cravings for Joe's Balls. and there's only one place they can get them, and that's at Ellen's. But you've got
Two
a
places,
new.
but yes.
Oh, are there two Ellens?
Oh,
no,
yeah,
okay,
that's
I'm
it,
sorry.
that's it, yeah.
All right, I get it. Okay, let's move on to your newest venture, Andrea's.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, we wanted to expand the portfolio beyond just Ellen's, which is a great concept, obviously, and we hope that people enjoy it. But there's other things that we want to do as well. We want one day to open a fine steakhouse, and we have a bar that we're opening up soon that we're excited about, a saloon. And we found a location in Frisco that was a former Italian restaurant. We've always talked about doing a fine dining Italian restaurant, a very European style Italian, not an American style Italian restaurant. And I've traveled to Italy, and a lot of people have, and you know there's a big difference about how Americans eat Italian food and how Italians eat Italian food. And I prefer the Italian way of eating Italian food. And we've partnered with our executive chef, Andrea Blake Nolan, who's great. He's young, he's much better looking than I, and he can cook a little better than I can. And I think we have a superstar and a great restaurant ready to open, hopefully in the next month or so.
Now, Blake Nolan is under an enormous amount of stress. He's going against the AI chefs.
Yeah.
What's his mindset going into this risotto competition where he is literally fighting for humanity?
He's
with this
intrepid.
risotto?
He is absolutely intrepid. I've had to hold him back. We put a bridle on him and some reins because he was rolling.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we let's cut to the video where we can see Chef Blake. Hopefully, I mean, I can imagine, you said he's in the zone, right? There's not just sweat. We're not going to see him just panicking.
Yeah.
All right, so he's
and
in the
girls,
zone.
if you want his autograph, just send Dave a note and we'll see if we can get a picture.
All right, let's roll it.
Hey guys, my name's Blake Nolan with Ristorante Andrea. Today we'll be making a lobster and Langestein risotto. So we're going to start off with 3 stalks of celery. We're going to use these for our lobster stock. The lobster stock is super important because that is the base of the whole dish. It's one of those things, I guess, if you have like a good solid knowledge of like basic cooking skills, it can be something that's really easy. Yeah, you can do it well very simply, but you can also screw it up just as fast. If you don't love on it, the food won't love you back. Langestein, it's essentially a Norwegian lobster, the Lamborghini of crustaceans. A very good, delicate flavor. Robots don't have a soul, man. When you cook with soul. Being able to put the love into the food, like I said, I mean, a robot can't replicate that. Sorry, my friend, cooking is not always pretty. So we're gonna put all of our pieces in here, all of our tails and claws. And we're gonna let those go for about 90 seconds. 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Now we're gonna start on our lobster stock. So we're gonna get a nice, about a 6-quart pot. We're gonna get that over medium-high heat. All right, so we're gonna let this just go for like a minute. So now we're gonna add about 2 ounces of tomato paste in here. A little bit extra for the homies. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we're going to add in our black peppercorns. I got thyme, bay leaf, and parsley stem in here. And 3 quarts of water. All right, so our lobster stock is done and smells absolutely wonderful. So now I'm going to blend the out of it. A couple tablespoons of butter into the pot, as well as a little bit of oil. The oil is going to help so that the butter doesn't burn. I'm gonna add my carnaroli rice. All right. Then we're gonna add our onion and garlic in there. If you listen closely, you can hear a little bit of popping, cracking going on, and that is what you wanna hear. My white wine. Let's absorb the wine. So now I'm going to start gradually adding my stock. Here's my cheese. And the cheese I'm using is a very nice 2-year aged Parmigiano Reggiano. You're gonna gradually add the butter in and try and maintain about 150 to 170 degrees Fahrenheit. So for right now, I'm going to add our lobster into the beurre monté. So we're gonna cook it very, very gently. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice little sheen from the butter, just perfectly cooked. The lobster and Langestein risotto. Enjoy.
All right, thank you. Oh my God.